Thank you very much, Dr. Murison. I congratulate the honourable member for bringing this important debate to the Chamber and uniting this Chamber behind support for beer, although his colleague spokesman slightly broke that consensus, I felt, with my honourable friend on a couple of points. But beer and pub businesses support 1 million jobs across the UK, contributing £34.4 billion to the economy. In my own North West Norfolk constituency, there are over 70 pubs and 4 breweries which support 2,300 jobs and generate £53 million to the local economy. Brewers including Brancaster, Fox, Lynn and the Duration Brewery in Westacre, and I strongly recommend their Turtles All the Way Down IPA. And it's been a good debate with a long list of excellent sounding pubs and breweries. And looking at the record of the previous Conservative government, we introduced a new duty system in 2023, has been referred to. This was the biggest reform of duties for over 140 years, and it was based on the common sense principle of applying duty based on the strength of alcohol, to modernise existing duties, to support businesses and to meet public health objectives. And of course, new reliefs were also introduced, the draft relief that we've heard about to cut the burden on draft products, and the small producers relief. The British Beer and Pub Association, quoted by the honourable member opposite, said that these reforms were very welcome for the beer industry, and I'm sure everyone would agree with that. And Conservative support for the sector went further, and at the Autumn Statement 2023, we froze alcohol duty, and then this was extended at the Spring Budget a year ago. By contrast, at the tax-raising Autumn Budget, the Chancellor increased the headline rate of alcohol duty by inflation, although she did continue our policy with a reduction on the rates for qualifying draft products and under the small producer relief. And while I recognise and welcome those two steps, the changes to draft relief will mean beer duty on an average 4.5% strength pint of beer reduces from 54p to 53p. A paltry 1 penny saving. And with the average pint now breaking the £5 barrier to mitigate new costs, it leaves many wondering, does the government really get the challenges facing the pub and brewing sector? And 1 in every £3 spent in the pub goes straight to the Treasury, and beer duty rates are now up to 12 times higher than other European nations. And this government's fiscal approach risks squeezing the life out of these vital sectors. A lot has been said about the role of pubs, and I also want to reflect on the role of breweries. The brewing subsector sustains 85,000 jobs, contributes £5 billion to tax revenues. And breweries are clearly fundamental to the success of pubs and to the hospitality sector, and over 80% of beer sold in the UK is produced domestically in 1,800 breweries, which have strong domestic supply chains and strong multiplier effects in those economies. And the economic value that they generate largely stays in the UK, and that's something that the government should be supporting in the policy approach that it takes. And beyond the increased alcohol duty that is the primary focus of this debate, we've also heard a lot about EPR and the extra costs that producers are facing. The BBPA have calculated EPR fees and budget costs will add over £800 million of extra burden onto the sector. The government's own impact assessment failed to make any distinction between sectors. So will the Minister commit to properly assessing the impact of fees on pub closures and on the brewing sector? And how does the Minister think that in the current climate those sectors can afford these huge additional costs? All members know from talking to pubs and breweries in their constituencies just how worried they are about increased costs. On Friday, I was at the Rose and Crown in Hartley in my constituency, one of my favourite pubs under the previous management and which has now just reopened. And talking to the new team there who have pubs across Norfolk, it's clear the national insurance increase and particularly almost halving the threshold at which it is paid has been very challenging and is leading to job losses across the sector. Now, pubs make an important contribution to our economy and to our communities. When in government, we introduced measures to protect the nation's beer producers and hospitality venues, and I pay tribute to my old friend for Kingsford and South Staffordshire, He was a doughty campaigner throughout the last Parliament to achieve that. Yet time and again I hear about the choices of this government placing unsustainable pressures on businesses. UK Hospitality just published figures showing that since that autumn budget, 69,000 jobs have been lost in the hospitality sector. Compared to the previous period, comparative period, 18,000 jobs were added then. Little wonder UK Hospitality has said that the decisions taken by this Chancellor and this government deliver a hammer blow to the sector. And business are, of course, extremely concerned of what's going to come in the autumn budget, given the black hole that has emerged in the Chancellor's spending plans. Now, Treasury ministers keep saying that business confidence is at a record high, and they sometimes manage it without a smile on their face. But if the minister makes his way to the Dog and Duck, he'll get a reality check, and he'll hear loud and clear how tough things are for pubs and brewers. He'll hear loud and clear how the government's increases in national insurance, in wage costs and business rates mean a third of venues are running at a loss. And he'll hear the need for the government to change course. Otherwise, spiralling costs risk undermining the great British institution of the pub that's at the heart of our constituencies and our communities. So rather than loading on more costs, the government should be supporting pubs and brewers. And if the minister does that, then we'll all buy him a pint.